25th Hour Radio Show.
Hello?
Hey, John, this is Rob Fairless from the 25th Hour Radio Show. How you doing?
I'm doing very well.
Where you at right now?
As a matter of fact, I'm presently at home.
Okay. Where's home to you?
Gloucester, Massachusetts. Actually, Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, okay. You guys had a terrible incident happen there.
Well, that's the understatement of the year. And just as remarkable, it seems to have come to a certain kind of conclusion.
Yeah, I'm glad they caught that guy. I hope everybody can somehow get some kind of closure from that.
I think that once the thing goes to trial, I think closure is just what's going to happen.
How did you first get into music? Was it as a child, young man?
Yeah, I became interested in playing guitar as a result, really, of watching really old reruns of Singing Cowboys. It always seemed like a good idea to me that you could get the horse and the gun and the girl and the guitar all in the same deal, and that's really what was the thing that prompted me to want to play guitar at 6 years old.
Did you learn to play it on your own, or did you get lessons?
No, I actually was self-taught. I had 1 year of music theory. I think my parents felt as though that the music thing was so deeply inbred that they wanted me to get some proper schooling on it. And so they sent me to this piano teacher who rapped my knuckles with a ruler. And so that there went my piano lessons, and I just stuck with the guitar.
Well, did learning to play an instrument, did that get you into singing, or did the singing get you into playing music?
I think so, yeah. At the very beginning, I wasn't very confident as a singer. In fact, I don't think I was very confident as a singer during the recording of my first two records. I was just sort of kind of feeling my way in those days and trying to emulate the people that I liked, just like everybody else, and trying to, in that act, create my own style somehow.
Hey, John, this is Randy, the co-host. When did you come into your own, man? When did you find your comfort zone?
I guess you could say when most guitar players who, when they attend high school, you start sort of playing guitar for all the social reasons. You want to make friends and you want girls to like you. And then after that, if you're still sticking with it, there's something deeper there, right? So after I graduated from high school, like every other guitar player, I was influenced by Hendrix and the Rolling Stones and Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton, just like everybody else. Right. But the thing I realized is once I left high school and started to look around and go, like, what am I going to do now? I realized that what I wanted to play is guitar, and that's when it sort of crystallized that this was going to be something I was going to make a real go of.
Well, let's back it up a little bit back to the high school scene there. Did you surround yourself with other musical kids that had the same destination you were shooting for?
I think so. I don't think it was so much me surrounding myself instead of, I was in fact surrounded. Like I was mentioning earlier, I was doing that for the same reasons as every other 15-year-old boy who was a little slow to make friends and wasn't socially popular and didn't know how to dance and all that stuff. So the guitar was an outlet. And as a result, kindred spirits kind of get together.
Right.
Well, how many instruments do you play? Did you stick with just the guitar?
Well, as I went on and became professional, I found it useful to teach myself piano, and I made a go of that, and was successful at least in making sounds that weren't horrible on a couple of my records, and obviously the guitar is my primary instrument, but owning a studio and running recording sessions as a producer kind of teaches you it's important to have a basic sense of every instrument you get your hands.
What was it like the first time you got on stage in front of a large crowd? Were you nervous, or was it something that you just felt natural?
Yeah, I was nervous, of course. I think the first time was I opened up for a band, Orleans. Remember them back
absolutely,
in the 70s?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
At a place called Bunker Hill Community College in Massachusetts. But I think the first time I was petrified was being on tour with the Jay Giles Band during the Freeze Frame tour, and Peter Wolf asked us to do 3 nights at the Boston Garden. and that was terrifying. Not only because Boston was my hometown by that point, but you know, there were 10,000 screaming Jake Giles fans, and it turned out pretty well, and we never looked back.
Do you try to stick to one style of music, or do you just go where the music takes you when you're writing?
I think so. I really feel like that the song dictates what happens. Excuse me. For me, I let the song kind of school where, you know, what instrumentation is required and where it kind of leads. The guitar is always my primary instrument, but I let a song dictate what happens next.
Now, do you write all of your own songs, or has anybody ever wrote for you?
No, I've never had a writer, write for me, like the professional writers like Desmond Child and those guys.
Oh yeah.
No, I've always, for better or worse, you know, I haven't yet met any, a professional writer who was able to kind of articulate what was going on in my own head. So.
You know, as the years have passed over your career, has the content of your music changed? You know, are you finding things to write about that maybe you wouldn't have wrote about or even thought about writing when you were younger?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, the things, it's funny. I never really thought of it that way, but I realize now that you've asked me, the things that were important to me then still are important to me now. And the writing then, the telling of those stories is just, you become better at articulating complicated feelings in a simple way. So the skill set becomes better, but no, the things that rubbed me the wrong way, bigotry and unfairness in the workplace and things that matter to working people like my parents and my colleagues, those things still are the things that inspire me to want to have something to say.
Talking about, projecting feelings, which do you prefer? I mean, it's probably a hard choice to make, but studio or doing gigs where you can actually be out with people?
I can't say I prefer one to the other. As soon as I've been on a tour for more than 2 months, I'm tired and exhausted and ready to go home. And by the third month, I'm certifiable. And so I can't wait to make the next record. And as soon as I've made the next record, and I've been in the studio for hours on end, I can't wait to play live. So it's a mixed bag.
Record making process, how long does that take you to do?
I'm getting better at it, so it takes less and less time. I just finished doing a new record, which I can't wait to send you guys to listen to. It's called Axis 3. And it's literally the third Jon Butcher Axis record, the first since 1983. And I recorded that with my mates in about 8 weeks.
That's long overdue, John.
Yeah, I'm really pleased with it too, guys. I got to tell you, what we did on this record is a few of those early songs that became really popular. I never was really happy with how they got recorded, and that's it's a long story, but I was never really pleased and proud of them. And I re-recorded "Life Takes a Life," "Ocean in Motion," and "Wishes," and not only gave them the life they deserved, but I think presented them in a way that we meant them to be from the beginning. And when we finish, I'd love to get your address and send you guys a couple of copies.
Oh, that would be awesome. Probably one of my favorite songs you do is "Wishes," and that's off the title track to the album of the same name, right?
Yeah, that was a terrific record. That was my most popular record as a solo performing artist, and I re-recorded that for this new CD, Axis 3. And I'm really proud of it because there's a lot of guitar playing that I thought was missing on the first version, and that's all I'll say about it. When you guys have a chance to listen to it, maybe we'll have a chance to talk again.
Okay, if it's all right, I want to ask you. One of the parts of that song, though, one of the lyrics is, "If wishes were horses, then dreamers would ride." What does that mean to you?
That line is I can't take complete credit for it. That's an old nursery rhyme, and for me, it always meant you could either spend your time wishing a thing, or you could get on with getting to where you want to go. And that's what that line meant to me, and that's what inspired me to write the song. My sense is, I spend less time daydreaming about doing a thing and more time getting on with doing it.
Another song I like off that is the Goodbye Saving Grace. If that's off the song, yeah, I love that song too, and I dig the video also.
Yeah,
I really dig that video. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I forgot about that. I think that was when I was wearing a mustache.
Oh yeah. You had a lot of dancers in the background. That was good too.
Yeah, I've learned. I've lived long enough to regret that mustache now.
Hey, I dug the mustache, man.
Okay.
So, are you touring right now, or do you having a tour coming up?
Yes. As I said, we just finished doing the new record, Axis 3, and that's going to be released this coming Friday. And to commemorate the event, I'm doing a big concert at a place called Hanover Theater in Worcester, Massachusetts, for 2,100 of my closest friends. And that's going to be a huge show. It's going to kick off a series of concerts that I'm going to do starting this summer. So with that said, stay tuned.
So what about social media and websites? Where can people go to check you out and see where your tour is going to be at and stuff like that?
Sure. Anybody who is on the East Coast, as I mentioned, we're doing a show on Friday in Worcester, Massachusetts at the Hanover Theater, and if you're online, you can get tickets to that at thehanovertheater.org. That's thehanovertheater.org. And of course, you can always go to any of my websites and web presences at Facebook, or my website, jonbutcher.com, for the latest info on where we're going to be this summer and the best way to get tickets to come see us play.
One more question. Do you have any advice for any of today's young guns out there trying to get into the business?
Well, the cliche answer is don't do it, turn back. But I think really there has never been a better time to be a writer or a guitar player or a producer or a drummer or anything else because of social media. There are outlets to get your music to the world that I didn't have when I first started. And had I, who knows what the possibilities would be. So my advice is just do it. Get into GarageBand or whatever it is you have at home and plug your guitar in, write that next great song, and put it on your own website and create your own Facebook page and introduce it to the world. That's my advice.
Well, Jon, thank you very much for joining us on the program today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks very much, guys. It's good to talk to you.
The 25th Hour Radio Show.